Hi guys, it's Rick here and welcome to this video. I had a lot of messages about an improvisation that I uploaded to my YouTube channel recently. It's the one with the subtitle Working on Phrasing, and the majority of you guys wanted the backing track, so I've decided to make it available for you. But also I'm just going to give you a couple of hints and tips regarding improvising, how you can improvise over it, but how you can improvise in general. Not how you can, but how I approach it, so you can take from it what you will. Firstly though, if you get the opportunity, please check out the HD Guitar Lesson store of my website. Lots of lesson material on there that you can check out, economy picking stuff, legato stuff, all sorts, so please do check it out. Okay, so the backing track that I've made for you is in D Dorian, so it's kind of a static thing. It's basically D, F, G, that kind of thing, but it's more of a static groove. But lots of different things that you can apply to this, but I'm just going to talk about how I approached improvising over it, the key elements that I tend to use when I'm improvising. So firstly, phrasing, the essential thing. So within phrasing, and it's also articulation, the way that you articulate the phrases. So I'm talking about things like sliding, string bending, vibrato, you know, whether you use legato, alternate picking, economy picking, all of those elements, you know, it's important to be in control of those as much as you can. But in particular, I want to talk about how I use ideas to, number one, practice scales, but also make them musical. Okay, because this, when I started doing this kind of opened the door to improvising for me. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this. When you put a backing track on, you get a bit pissed off with yourself because you end up playing scales up and down, and you don't seem to be able to come out with any phrases. It's just scales up and down. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a way that you can break out of that, but also give you some fantastic ideas when it comes to improvising. So you're killing two birds with one stone here. So this is how I practice it, and I still do it now. What I'll do is pick a scale that I'm working on. In this instance, backing track's D minor, so well, it's D Dorian, but we're going to do, just for example, just to make it easy, D minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so let's say you put on a backing track and you just seem to be playing the scale up and down constantly. What I would do is take a rhythmic or melodic phrase or motif, okay, and just play it. So here's our little motif. Okay, really simple, but nice. Okay, then what I do is take that little motif and then apply it to the whole scale. So instead of playing, you know, all day long, what you do is apply the little motif to every to the whole position. So you end up with this. And you've got something nice and musical already. So, and then you can start extending it just a little bit. But I don't want to jump ahead. So that's how I would practice it. That enables me to break away from these finger movements of falling into the box patterns. And this is not just the minor pentatonic scale, this can be with the major scale as well. So, add a bit of vibrato as well. The slides really make it sound interesting. Okay, I changed the note here. You can start extending it. Once you've practiced that, then you can apply it to your different positions. So second position, whoops. Okay, and then you can take two positions and put them together like this. Okay, so we're in a much more musical realm than the realm of playing scales up and down. You know, we've got some ideas, but we're still using the scale shapes and practicing our knowledge of scale shapes on the fretboard. So you can do that with position 1 and 5. Okay, sounds musical already. So that's the kind of thing that I would do. You can extend the phrase a little bit, add an extra note in. Then it starts to become musical, you know. All of that didn't sound anything like a scale, even though I was thinking about the positions, the scale positions that I was in. It's more about the phrase that I'm playing or the motif that I'm playing and where I can let it take me. Okay, so that was a nice little phrase. Now, see what I did there? I played a phrase that was kind of like a question, and then the second phrase was more of an answer. That leads me on to the next part. When I improvise, what I try and do is come out with phrases that are kind of like a question-answer thing, because it gives more, there's more meaning to what you play, you know. So I'll start with a phrase like I've just played there, and then there you've got a question and an answer. Then you can continue it. And then you're into a completely different realm already. You know, I love this part of improvising because it's a whole world that you can explore. And it's really, really exciting to do. And it breaks you away from doing monotonous scales up and down. I actually love doing that anyway, so it's not a problem for me. But this is a great way to enable you to number one, practice your scales, but at the same time, work on improvising and coming out with decent, tasty phrasing. Okay, the other thing is note choice. That's really important. You know, it's important when you improvise to know what the intervals that you're playing are against the given chord. Okay, you need to be able to do that. One thing that really helps is to be able to sing phrases and then play them. So I'm not going to attempt to sing it, but that was in my head before I actually played it. So what you want to do is test yourself to see if you can sing a phrase and then repeat it. But let's make it up. But da 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 da. Let me phrase it differently. See what I mean? There you go. That's come from here. It's not come from your fingers. You know, you're thinking about a phrase, you sing the phrase, and if you're anything like me, you crucify the phrase when you sing it. So apologies for that. But it's music that comes from within rather than just, you know, muscle memory. You know, muscle memory is useful, but you need to be able to come up with phrases and play them instantly. So you need to tune into your knowledge of intervals, and you can do that just by practicing intervals on their own and hearing, internalizing the sound of them, not playing finger movements like here's a minor third, here's a fifth, just through finger movements. Internalize the sound of them so that when you hear it, you instantly know what it is. Anyway, I'm rambling on here. So those are some of the main points that I use. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how I use speed in improvising, and then we'll wrap up. The way I tend to use speed, the most effective way for me is what I'll do is I'll keep the timing solid and rigid to a beat, specific beat, whether that's quarter note, eighth note, 16th note, whatever. Usually if it's faster, it's usually 16th note. So I will keep the timing rigid, but then toward the end of it, I will start floating over the beat. So I'll speed up the legato or whatever it is that I'm doing and let it float over the beat. And that has a really cool sound to me. I love the way that sounds. If you're playing constantly in time the whole time, I find it can be pretty boring. Not always, depends who's playing, but with my playing, what I like to do is mix it all up. So you'll find an example of that in the legato. There's a fast legato section in the improvisation, so do check it out. It's in about the middle of the improvisation, I think. So you can get an example of how that works. In fact, here it is. Okay, let's wrap up this lesson. Really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed digging into the backing track and putting some of the ideas I've talked about to good use. Don't forget to check out my website as well for all other lesson content. Okay, hope you enjoyed. Speak to you soon. Take care.